Hey, hello, everybody out there in internet land. It's Quarterdeck Arcade. My name is Pete, and I'm your host. And today is Sunday, January 21st, and this is episode 7 of my little podcast here. So, I literally got here on the seat of my pants, literally. Um, Schedules are all messed up this weekend. My gal usually works Saturdays and then usually is off on Saturdays and works on Sundays. And so I'm able to do some show prep and get things together that I want to talk about. And didn't have much of that opportunity. And one of the big reasons is because I had internet problems. I don't know why. I'll sort it out later, but I got it up and running. So anyway, I'm here. And those of you that are watching this on replay, I'm glad you found me. Remember to hit the like and subscribe button. I do appreciate it. And if you have any questions or comments about the show, please email me at thequarterdeckarcade@gmail.com. Okay, so let's talk about what I want to do for today. The main topic is going to be the Arcade1Up Infinity Game Board. And sorry, I got to make an adjustment here because my face looks really bad and I didn't have time to tweak the lighting. Let's see if I can get it. That's a little better. Kind of dark, but who cares? Anyway, welcome. Let me get the comment stream going. So the main topic today is the Infinity Game Board. I went to, you might have seen it featured in one of PD7's videos. The wholesale warehouse that basically buys pallets and sells stuff. I talked about it last weekend. I'm sorry, I'm just flying by the seat of my pants here. The warehouse, I went there a couple of times last week actually because I'm hemming and hawing over the purchase of an X-Men, and I think I'm going to pull the trigger this week if it's still there. But I went back there Wednesday and I picked up the Infinity Game Board at a discount. That thing goes for $4.99 retail. And hi Danny, how you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, I plan to. In fact, I'll give you a little tease here. There it is. I've unboxed and boxed this thing so many times, and I bought this secondhand, so it's been used before. In fact, the user's credentials were still on the device. I had to do a reset, and I'll show you how to do the reset, or I'll point it out. I won't actually do it because I've used it. But I got this guy down to 340 on this thing. I wanted to go a little lower because if it had gone a little lower that day, I probably would have picked up the X-Men as well. But I stuck with this purchase for now, and I'll give you my initial comments. I'm loving this thing. I really am. As a person who grew up with a lot of Hasbro games, my gal and I have been playing this pretty much every night after dinner. We've been opening it up and we've been playing, and I'll give you my feedback on that a little later. So yeah, here we are in the Quarterdeck Arcade. It's the view right now. Everything's fired up. I got the sound turned down on all the machines. Normally I have the sound up, as a lot of people that stream on YouTube do. They probably keep everything turned down. No, well, for a family like yours, Cornercade, I think I gotta learn to keep doing this. The for two people like myself and my gal who play at the dining room table, the 18-inch screen is fine. It's not too small at all. We actually enjoy it. The table for a family like yours, and which you want to involve everybody, a table would probably work better. I've seen people turn the 32-inch table into an actual coffee table with a wood border, and it looks nice. And there's also a 24-inch version of the table, I think. But my gal and I don't need the table, and for what it is, the 18-inch works great. I We love it. We've had a ball playing it the last few nights, and she's especially having a ball because she's beating me at everything. So, but that's what we're going to talk about in a little bit. We'll get to it. A couple of things I mentioned when I turned on the stream. I almost was late to my own show because the schedules are turned around. My gal usually works on Sundays, and then I have Sunday morning to work out early and to get in here and prep for the show. I didn't have any of that, so didn't even have breakfast yet. So I'm kind of hungry. But what we were doing was we doing our regular Saturday workout today, and that kind of put me on a really tight schedule. Just to give you a little thought or a little insight into what I'm doing here. Let me. I'm getting disoriented. So I'm going backwards here. So that's me and my gal this morning at the gym. We do our long runs normally on the weekends, and so we did our long run today, and barely got everything in. Got home, got to the store, got dinner, went to Starbucks for a beverage, and then got here, and I had time to take a quick shower. But I had those internet problems, so I was flying by the seat of my pants, literally. Cornercade, I'll be doing some live gameplay in a bit, so you'll get to see it. But what I wanted to kind of casually mention is one of the things I do, and one of the things that enables me to run, and this is kind of sort of related to home arcade, is I use an app called Zwift. It's a virtual running environment. And one of the neat things, or one of the cool routes that they have in that place is it's a Japan themed island. And on that island is an arcade. And you run through you can either run or bike through the arcade. You can see a bike up ahead of me in this photo. But it's really cool. And because of licensing, you don't make out any real logos or characters or anything. It's just themed like an arcade. Even has the carpet. I'll show you the next slide here. See you have an arcade carpet in here as you're running. But this was towards the end of my run. I was at 8.72 miles here, but I have a blast doing Zwift. And if you're interested, shoot me an email at thequarterdeckarcade.com or the quarterdeckarcade@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to share with you what I do to run in this virtual environment and what equipment I use. But I couldn't run on the treadmill unless I had an app to do it. Okay, so let's go back here. Changes to the arcade. Well, Cornercade, you got me thinking about this because you had told me that I should pull the bookcases out and make some more room for the units. But every once in a while, we go through this. Those of us that have these home arcades, we get bored and we want to do something, so we move things around. And so I'm thinking about that. I have 6 days straight off coming up, but next weekend, and so I'm going to spend some time down here rearranging things a bit. I think I'm going to follow your advice, Cornercade. I think I'm just going to pull out that TV and the bookcases and put them outside. The TV I'll probably hang from the ceiling at some point. I just got to make sure I do that so that doesn't damage the house framing or whatever. But yeah, so changes will be coming to the layout, and I haven't done a tour yet because I think I want to wait for the tour until I get the rearranging done. To answer your question, Cornicade, no, I was not born in Wisconsin. I was born and raised in Indianapolis, Indiana, and lived there for the first 18 years of my life before I joined the Navy. And then the Navy taught me that home was basically where you hang your hat. So I spent a few years in Norfolk, Virginia in the Navy, and then came home, or actually married someone from Milwaukee while I was in the Navy, lived in Norfolk with her for a while, and then we moved the family back to Wisconsin after I had gotten out of the Navy. So I've been in Wisconsin ever since 1991. So I'm more of a cheesehead now than I ever was a Hoosier, but I still have Hoosier roots. I go back there. I have family there. I go to the Speedway twice a year, every year, for the IndyCar race and the NASCAR race. And but no, I was not born in Wisconsin. You know, I could do that. I could, but I have racks on the other side of the wall, and that would probably present some problems in trying to get to those racks. I'd have to rearrange the racks, so that means a lot more work. But I'm thinking about it. I've kind of slowed down my purchases now, and maybe one or two a year. So if it comes to that, I'll probably think about doing that. Yeah, I don't have a Wisconsin accent. No. No, and I've lived here for well, shoot, 20 or 32 years now. Yeah. I've been here 32 years. So I was in Indiana on a permanent basis for 18 years, and I been living here for 32, living and working for 32. So my accent never changed. No one says beverage in Wisconsin. That's funny. I got to take a break here and take a sip. Okay. So yeah, I talked about changes in the arcade. I finished the Space Invaders. There's one teeny tiny little cosmetic thing. I've got some screw cap covers coming from Retro 530. And I'll put those in. I'll just pop those in, and then it's done. I'm not doing anything else. The only other thing I got to do is when I get my four infrared kit from Retro Shooter, I need to quick open the back and pop those connections in and change the guns, and then I'll be done with that. Why should I not get X-Men? Why do you say I should not get X-Men? Let me know. I actually think it's a fun game. I've been playing it a lot lately on my ALU. So this is the finished product, the T2 conversion. Well, Cornercade, I do plan to do the 2-player panel conversion on it. Now that Adrian is back on Etsy, I can order the 2-player. He does have a 2-player deck for X-Men. So I'll probably do a video on that if and when. I should be, assuming the X-Men is still at that place, I'll get it. I'm pretty proud of this Space Invaders project, though. I had a guy in one of my comments comment, why would I do that to the T2? And I'm like, I don't have any nostalgia for T2. I bought the cabinet on the cheap for this project, and this is what I wanted to do. I love the Space Invaders artwork. Is it the Space Invaders form factor? No. I know that. I went into this knowing that. And I love the look at this cabinet. My gal was down here playing it with me the other night. We were playing the shooting games. We were playing, well, we played T2. I wanted to give her a demo, and she had a blast with it. She thought it was fun. Do you still have X-Men, Cornercade? I explained to you, Danny, how my schedule works. I'm just if I'm not sleeping, I'm working out and working. So there's very little time for me. What little time I have is on the weekends. I have to force myself to take days off just so I get to do the things I want to do. So I am taking 6 days next weekend. I can't commit to anything, really. I really can't. But the desire is there. I would love to help you. It's very hard. Okay, so yeah, the Space Invaders pretty much done. I'm a little, the marquee is a little bit washed out. I may go back to and hit up Joe Zabo and see if he can give me something to replace that. But for now, it's good enough. Okay, yeah. I thought you did. I thought you sold them all. All right, let's talk Infinity Game Board. Where's my cell phone? There it is. All right. Again, because I was moving so fast this morning to get on the show, I forgot my show prep stuff on this upstairs. So forgive me. But just to cover the basics on this, it's retails for $4.99. I got it for $3.40. There's a couple left there at that place, Cornercade, if you're interested. I realize the screen is probably too small, but they do have a table there, and you might be able to get the table at a discount. I believe they had a table for like $700. Don't quote me on that. Might be $750. But the interface on this is pretty slick. I got to admit, it's simple, easy to use. It comes with 2 gigabytes of RAM and 16 gigabytes of onboard storage. That's a lot of space to put these games on. And I will tell you, I went through and it says it comes with 50 games. Well, you have to install those games. The board comes completely clean. There's no games on it. You have to install the games. So when you go through the sign up process and create your ID, log into the system, then you can go to their store and then download all your free games, which include all the ones that are shown here. And then you can then go and then enter your credit card information and then buy the ones that required payment. I have bought a handful. I bought 3. I bought Wheel of Fortune. There's an Uno type game that they charge for called Oh No. It's almost exactly like Uno, but I bought it because I love that game. And what else did I buy? I think I bought a word game for my gal. Good morning, Gotham. Good to see you. Welcome to the show. We're talking about the Infinity Game Board now. So yeah, two gigabytes of RAM, 16 gigabytes of onboard storage. Now, what I was getting at was I installed all the games that were free on the machine. I went through, it says free, I'm going to install it. So the board I have now has all the games on it that are free. So all 50 games. And then there's over 100 that you can actually, the total, there's over 100. And the rest of them are all payment required, but you can pick and choose the ones that you want and ones you don't. You don't have to install all the free games if that free game doesn't make any sense to you. I just wanted to see how much storage I was going to eat up by putting all the free games on there, and I'm almost at 50%. So I've almost used 8 gigabytes of storage to install the 50 free games and a handful of the paid games. I'm going to switch over mics, and then we're going to go back there because that's back in my work area. I didn't have time to set up this mic either, so bear with me. Testing. All right, bring up my audio. Now I'm going to lose the chat when I go over here and talk, so I didn't have time to get my tablet, and I'm using my phone for the camera. So don't think I'm ignoring you. So while I'm over there, I'm going to be away from the chat, which is probably a bad idea, but okay, testing. I'm now on my lavalier mic. Okay. All right, so as I said, I've boxed and unboxed this thing many times, and it's kind of a tight. I hope I can get this. Kind of tight. All right, so just to show you, so it's got Monopoly as its display, which is smart. And the games that it includes are Monopoly, Battleship, Scrabble, Guess Who, Trivial Pursuit, Sorry, Life, Candyland, Yahtzee, Connect 4, Operation, Clue, and Trouble. So those are the heavy hitters, and those are all free games, I believe. And then the back of the unit, this is your menu. And these are some additional free games that you get with, chess and backgammon both come standard with it. Tic-tac-toe. And Simon's on there. Simon's actually kind of fun. Played that. There's also, it talks about the specs, 2 gigabytes of RAM, 16 gigabytes of onboard memory. It runs on the 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi spectrum. So if there's a game on there called Trivia, and that's the other game I paid for, there's a version of Trivia, and you use your if you're like me and you have both a 2.4 gigahertz and a 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi network, you're going to have to make sure that all of those devices are on the same network. Screen size 18.5 inches, resolution 1920 by 1080, aspect ratio 16 by 9, 60 hertz refresh rate, and it has a G+G capacitive touch 10 points. So I don't know what that means, but it sounds technical. So this is the Infinity Game box. I'm just going to quick make sure nobody's saying anything in chat. Good. All right. When you get this brand new, you have seals, just like the standard Arcade1Up seals, in a nice black box. And when you open it up, this is generally how it works. Again, mine has been packaged and unpackaged several times. It had a previous owner that I had to reset. So you take the foam out, has these nice flaps, and then the Infinity Game Board cover that goes over, and you can see we've got like prints all over this thing already just from usage. But you basically, it doesn't come with very many parts. In the bottom underneath this thing, you're going to have your quick start guide, and you're going to have these little privacy screens. So on games where you don't want people to see your cards, you would get these little privacy screens, and you'd bend the ends here and then put that up. And then like for the Oh No game, the Uno-like game, you would use these to block out your cards so the other person can't see. And it comes with 4 of these. Last night when we played Oh No, just used my cell phone. And the only other thing physical it comes with, besides the game board itself, is the power. So let me get all the packing material out of the way. Okay, the board itself, 18.5 inches. You got a little infinity symbol here that does nothing. It's just there for a show. On the unit itself, you have a power button and you have up and down volume control. On the back side of the unit, you have a USB port. I have no idea what that USB port's for. I have no idea. And then on the back side, you have your standard Arcade1Up labeling. You got your serial number, model number, tag, and then the only port under here is the power port. All right, so power. It comes with a power adapter, but it also comes with a nice little extension cord. So you got your standard power, and if you've got an acceptable length from your outlet to the board, then that's fine. But it comes with a nice little extension, which helps us because we play it on the kitchen table and the nearest outlet is kind of a little distance away. So we'll plug that in. We just run the cable underneath it. Let's talk power for a minute, though. This thing does not have an onboard battery. There is no onboard battery. If you want to play it, you have to plug it in. Now, if you wanted to purchase a battery for this, I believe the Infinity Game Table, you might want to check on this, but I believe the Infinity Game Table battery that Arcade1Up sells, which is super expensive, will work on this. But for now, the game board in its, as it comes, does not have a chargeable battery built in. So you have to plug it in. And we'll do that, and you'll see it start up here. Run my power cable. All right, you should see the boot screen. There we go, the infinity symbol. While that's doing that, all right, so this is the boot screen. And this is the interface. Now, when you first start this up, this is going to be a blank slate. So there's not going to be, all these games are not going to be on here. It's just going to be blank. You have two options. You have My Games and you have the game store. When you also, when it first boots up and you have to configure it. And unfortunately, mine's in a configured state, so I can't walk through that configuration for you. This is my gamer tag. So if you have one of these Infinity Game Boards, you can add me as a friend, QD Arcade IGB. And again, it would not let me use QD Arcade because QD Arcade already exists in their ecosystem. So I usually, what I do is I add the IGB or a short letter abbreviation for whatever device I'm using. So I used Infinity Game Board IGB. So what you have here on your interface is you have various filters. So let's say I wanted to show all the connected play games, the games that I can connect with a friend over the network. I can play these games connected. So I could play a game of Monopoly, Sorry, Trouble. I mean, all of these popular games. I could play a game of backgammon or checkers or chess with a connected opponent. You can also play games that are computer opponent. So I can play the computer in a game of checkers or chess, or even Oh No, which is Uno, or Wheel of Fortune. I could play the computer. You can sort games that can support only 1 player, 2 player, 3 player, 4 players, 5 or more. You can even filter on kids games. I'm just going to quickly check the chat in case there's any questions. All right. Thank you, Gotham. I appreciate the kind words. So you go through the process of setting this up. These are your settings. Basically, you have to set up your Wi-Fi, and then you would your other setting option. You can rotate the display if you want. And this is where you look at your storage. Right now, I'm at 43% used. And this is a credit screen. And I'm going to pull this up because if you scroll through the credits here, there's a familiar name in there. Anybody recognize the name in the middle there? I don't know how he got in the comments or in the credits, but he's actually a credited contributor to this device. I guess maybe he tested with it. I'm not sure. And I don't recognize any of the other names in here. But I saw Kong's Arrest and I'm like, I know that dude. Or I don't know him, but I know of him. Now I mentioned online players. Here's the thing I don't like about this unit. So goods and bads. Overall, I love this board. But the bad thing is, and they're supposedly working on an update for this, but in order to add somebody, you need to know their name. You need to know their gamer tag. So right now I have no friends because I don't know anybody that has an Infinity game table or game board other than P-Dubs. I know he has a table. And I can't search for anybody. I can't randomly pick people to add here. Can't do that. You have to know their tag. Now, what I've read that what Arcade1Up is working on for maybe a near update or next update is they're thinking about incorporating a lobby system to where you can go find people to play, because I think they've gotten a lot of feedback on this, because I know this irks me, is I want to find people to play. I can't find people to play unless there's someplace on the web where you can search for gamer tags and add them that way. There's probably a site somewhere or a chat board somewhere where people are throwing out their gamer tags that you can add. But I haven't gotten that far yet in the process, and I haven't really researched it. But it'd be neat if I could play a game of Monopoly against somebody. I did that decades ago when Monopoly first came out and the internet was taking off. Monopoly actually had an online playable game, and I had that and I loved it. So that's a little bit about, yeah, see, manage your friends list. You need to know the handle, and then you can add them, but you can't search. So that'd be the only bad thing I have to say about this, is the whole connection capability. So you can shove that off to the side. I talked about My Games and Game Store as your two main interfaces. So I talked about the filters. So we'll take kids off and we'll just do all. So you've got your My Games section. These are games that you've installed and purchased. You've got your last played, your featured games. They feature games down here that you might be interested in. And you can see some of these feature games cost money. So this is a pool table game for $3.99. Batman Monopoly is $9.99. And then Harry Potter Trivial Pursuit, $9.99. So it varies from game to game how much it is. Some of them are $2.99, some of them are $3.99, $5.99, or $9.99. But the Game Store interface, you switch over to the Game Store, you have the option of purchasing or downloading free games. So you've got several options here, and they do filter the games by category. So you have action, application, arcade, board games, card games, casino games, coloring. You know, that's good for kids. Some educational games for kids as well. Some party games, puzzle games, racing. I don't know what this whole category is about, but social deduction, sports, and strategy games. So there's various categories you can pick from. And again, you'll know if it costs money just by looking at the lower right corner of each. Just let's find a game that I could install, just so you get a little taste of what that's like. Let's look for Table Trivia is that trivia game I mentioned previously that costs money. I installed the US version for $9.99, but you need, again, I mentioned all the devices that it requires cell phone use. So all of your cell phones and this board have to be on the same Wi-Fi network. It has to be 2.4 as well, because this board only supports 2.4. So let's say I wanted to install this crossword game. I would select it, standard Android interface. By the way, I believe this is Android 11. I don't think I mentioned that. So when you come up to the install screen, it gives you game rules. And it talks about how to do things in the game. So that's kind of nice. I mean, it's pretty thorough about telling you about the game and what its features are and how to play the game. But if you're interested in buying it, you click on the amount. But yeah, you go through that. It's the typical credit card checkout interface, and then it's password protected. So you set that password up during the setup, and then you can just buy it. All right, so let's talk about let's demo a few games, shall we? I'm going to check the chat and get a drink of water real quick. Ooh-wee. Yeah, Gotham definitely hit me up. I could use some friends on here to play. All right, let's go back to My Games to find a game I've installed. So let's pick, well, let's do something basic right now. Let's pick tic-tac-toe. So it has its own little music. Each game has different music, and you can turn up the volume or turn it down. I'll turn it down a little bit. You can do one player or two players. If you do one player, the computer is going to play player two. And for this version of tic-tac-toe, you can actually do grid sizes. So you can do the standard 3x3, 5x5, or 7x7. I'll do the standard 3x3. So the computer picks that. And guess what? We're at a stalemate. We'll do one more. Oh, guess what? The computer just won. No, I won. Oh, wonderful. So go back home, and to exit every game, you do the cog, and then hit dashboard, and you're back at the interface. So let's look at Operation, and I'm going to talk about Operation. Is probably one of my least favorite games on here, and the reason why is it's kind of weird how they did it. The electronic version of Operation. So you pick your player. I'll pick red. And the game has to load. And you click your card. Remove the pencil, leave no doubt. And then what it does is it brings up this little X-ray thing with a course. And you basically pick up your tweezers, and you have to move the thing you were told to remove to the goal. And that's how you win points. So that was a practice round. Remove Adam's apple. Same thing. I mean, this is how the game plays throughout. I'll hit the wall. So you see what happens when you don't stay inside the walls. It's not a challenging or hard game at all, but the greater the money amount, the thinner these little lanes are, so it does become harder. But my gal and I played this last night, and we were like, this is weird. So this is probably my least favorite. Ooh, almost hit the wall there. Sometimes I challenge myself to see if I can do it as fast as possible. Boom. So that's the game, really. I don't know why it's got me in practice mode, because usually each card is worth money, and then if you're successful, you get that amount of money. Your settings interface depends from game to game. You can change the rules: 3 strikes, 2 strikes, 1 strike. It defaults to 3 strikes. So my gal last night, she hit the wall twice, but made it on the 3rd try. So we didn't find out off the sound effects or the music, and that's pretty true of all of the games. Does have rumble, so when you hit the wall, you actually get a rumble out of the device. And if you want to learn how to play, each game has a how to play. And we'll exit back to the dashboard. So that's operation. I'll show you the whack-a-mole game because that's pretty that's pretty fun. And the kids would probably love this. So I'm going to do solo. It tells you how many points each are worth. Now, if you hit the one that's a bomb, that you lose 100 points. So you have to be careful. I'm going to switch to my right hand because I suck with my left hand at this game. It's a fun game. It really is. I like going to play whack-a-mole in the arcade. It's a suitable substitute. You just you use your finger instead of a hand. Oh, I hit the bomb. I lost 100 points. And you're on a time. Ah, I did it again. Shoot. Ah, 3 times now I've done that. Ah, I did it again. Ah. Time's up. So I scored 760. And the high score is actually my gal. She got the high score on this. So that's whack-a-mole. That's a fun game. What else can I show you? We have not played Life yet. We've not played a game of Monopoly yet. What did we play? We played Hungry Hungry Hippos. Let's see, what else? Oh, let's take out kids. There we go. We got more choices now. What else could I show you? We have not played Clue yet. We intend to, though. Connect 4. So that's a game that we showed on PD7's Walk and Talk at that warehouse because they had a demo version. Pretty simple. This is a simple game, and you can connect with another player if you have their tag gamer tag loaded. And I'll pick red. And we'll say the other color is yellow, and then we'll make him the computer opponent. So some of these games, you have to set it from an actual player to the computer. And then we'll start the game. So it's very simple. You're familiar with Connect 4. You basically have to get 4 in a row. You pick up your token, and you drop it in. Then the computer will do his. Uh-huh. Ah. Sometimes it's hard to get him where it needs to go. Ah. Oh, you screwed up, buddy. Bada boom, bada bing, I win. So that's Connect 4. It's fun. So we'll quit. We'll go up to the cog and we'll go back to the dashboard. So let's do one more. We'll do one more. What could I do? Well, I'll do one of the paid games. So Wheel of Fortune costs money. It was $9.99, I believe. I think that's reasonable. So we'll select Wheel of Fortune again, one of my paid games. I'll turn up the volume a little bit so you get. So you basically pick your player. I'll pick yellow. And you start game. So this is the toss-up round. It's going to populate the words or the letters. And you basically have to, if you know it, you have to guess it. Oh, it skips the round. It automatically just does it because you're only one player. If it was two players, then whoever just learns what it is or figures out what it is, they buzz in and then they solve it. But since I'm the only player, it skips this round. So you got your spin, your buy a vowel, and solve buttons. Right now I can't buy a vowel because I have no money. And then the spin, you basically use your finger to spin the wheel. And bankrupt. Yeah, my gal bankrupted me last night. Sometimes it's hard to grab the wheel. So I got an R and then it adds to my bank. I can now buy a vowel. Let's test that. We'll say A. And we'll spin. Again, you can do 3 players on this. So just like the real Wheel of Fortune. Oh, D. Really? That's the only D? All right, another vowel. I'm going to turn the volume down because I have no idea if this music's going to get me copyright struck. Spin. I lose a turn, but I'm the only one playing, so. Ooh. Oh, come on, 5,000. Oh, yes. Oh, man. I got 16 grand now. So let's see if I can figure this out. It's a character. I still don't know what that is. No! I just lost 16 grand. I'm sure you in the chat are probably solving this for me. I can't see the chat right now. Oh. And so that's the game. And you go through another round, and then you go through the final round where you go for a grand prize, and the grand prize is kept in an envelope. So that's Wheel of Fortune. It's fun. I love it. I don't know if that was one of the ones that you could connect. And I don't recall seeing an option to connect with somebody else to play this. That would be nice if it was true. No, you can't connect with anybody across the internet to play this, which is sad, but still a fun game, even if you're playing it by yourself. So that's the Infinity Game Board, 18.5-inch screen. For my gal and I, this is perfect. It's a perfect size for our dining room table. I highly recommend it. I really do. We're having a blast with it. We've played it every night this week, really, and just having a blast. So there are again some games like Hungry Hippo and Operation have that kind of tactile response that you get from playing the physical game. You don't have that here, but it's digital, so you take it for what it is. But we're gonna experiment with some more of these games. I will quickly show you, if you get a used board and it still has the previous person's information on it, their gamer tag and everything, like mine came with. The method to reset this is to press in down here in the lower left corner, is to press and hold the power button and the right button, the volume up button. Just hold those in. I don't know if it's 5 or 10 seconds, but if you do that, it'll come up with a prompt to erase the game or factory reset the game. So that's how you do that. I had to Google that and I found that out. So now you know. To turn the board off, you press the power button. Actually, that just put it in screensaver. Press and hold the power button. Then you get this menu to either restart or power off. Typical Android menu. And that's it. That's the Infinity Game Board. So I hope you enjoyed that demo. I'm going to walk back here to the chat. All right. Just going through and looking through the chat. I'll bring my camera back. Let's catch up. All right. Gotham, that'd be great. Like I said, hit me up. Appreciate that, Gotham. Yeah, everybody, if you're watching this on replay, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I will be at the Midwest Gaming Classic in April, and so is my gal. She's coming with me because she wants to kind of see what it's like. I actually haven't been to the Midwest Gaming Expo since they moved from Brookfield. I used to go to it at the Brookfield Sheraton when it was there, and it was tight. It was cramped there. It was very cramped. I don't know what you're talking about here, Cornercade. Marvel Pinball is no longer at that warehouse. That was sold last week. The X-Men, last I checked, which was Wednesday, it was still there. It could be gone by now. The box is pretty beat up. There is a hole in the box, and I could see inside, and the components don't appear to be damaged, but you never know. The Yoga Flame, I believe they were selling for like $300. Their standard price there seems to be like $350. Yeah, $350 seems to be their go-to price, and they actually have guys, I could go out in the street or out on and buy this brand new from any site for $299 now. So you're playing with me, Cornercade. I know you are, because you don't like 4-player control panels. That's how I know. So yeah, I kind of wanted to stay under an hour. I'm over an hour now. But this has been a great show. I'm glad I got to show the Infinity Game Board. It's now going to go up from the arcade here upstairs, because that's where we're going to be playing it. The gal loves it. I love it. I highly recommend it. And I can see where a family would have a blast with the table. So Cornercade, if you're interested in that, I would by all means think about getting it, especially if you can pick it up on a deal. I wait for deals. This was a deal, in my opinion. I got it for $340. It was basically brand new. I don't know why the gentleman let it go and decided to sell it, but he did. So his misfortune is my fortune. So are you thinking about getting the 24-inch or the full 32-inch tabled Cornercade? Oh, okay, 32. All right. I'm starting to get a little bit of a delay in my interface here, so it's probably good. That's great, Gotham. You guys got to let me know how that 32-inch goes, because I might upgrade. I don't know. It depends. Like I said, the gal and I are perfectly happy with the 18.5-inch, because we can take it on trips and play while we're in the hotel room or whatever. So guys, thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate everybody that joined me on the live stream. And if you're watching on replay, thanks for watching. Hit the like and subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. And You all have a great week. I'll try to post some things during the week if appropriate. And I'll see you next week, okay? Thanks for watching.